strategy formulation process at a business level starts with the orientation phase, which sets the company's direction or vision, declares its role or mission, and puts forward a list of objectives strategy should help achieving. Orientation is followed by the analysis or diagnosis macro phase. Within such phase, the company analyzes both its external environment, that is, its industry, and its internal one, that is, its own structure and inner dynamics, to gather data and insight that should inform its strategy. The combination of an external and internal strategy analysis creates the basis for a matching between opportunities and threats coming from the outside with strengths and weaknesses emerging from the inside. This matching goes under the pretty well-known name of SWOT analysis. Nothing but an acronym for strengths and weaknesses stemming from the inside and opportunities and threats coming from the outside. SWOT is used in many contexts due to the fact that it's quite an easy and straightforward tool. Notwithstanding this, the SWOT analysis is the core of the strategy formulation process at a business level, since it is from such combined perspectives that the business strategy of the company arises. More specifically, by crossing external opportunities and threats with internal strengths and weaknesses, the company may understand, for instance, what are its strengths to leverage to exploit opportunities. What are its strengths it may use to defend itself from a threat? And what are its weaknesses that do not allow it to properly take advantage of an opportunity, or maybe that intensify the negative effect of a threat? Performing wise and insightful combinations of these four elements allows us to enter the decision-making phase of the process, whose first step refers to strategic alternatives generation. In this step, the SWOT analysis allows the company and the decision maker to formulate a set of possible strategic alternatives or strategic decisions at a business strategy level. Exploiting an opportunity with a strength is indeed a strategic decision, since it is long-term, it requires lots of investments and resources, it is cross-functional and hardly reversible. So the overall set of strategic decisions that will constitute a company's business strategy basically emerge from the SWOT. Of course, not all strategic alternatives can be implemented because of the lack of resources or a possible mutual exclusivity. The strategic alternatives must hence be assessed and evaluated in terms of their consistency with the vision, mission, and goals, the resources available in terms of budget, and their possible contribution to achieve and sustain the company's ultimate goal, that is, value creation by means of competitive advantage. This assessment could be done by means of scenario analysis and economic and financial forecasts, and sensitivity analysis. However, since this constitutes the heart of the entrepreneur's or manager's decision-making role, it will be her or his strategic and entrepreneurial acumen to determine how to reach the goals by means of which decision. This decision-making step is labeled Strategic Alternatives Assessment and Selection. After one or more strategic alternatives are selected, they are embodied in the company's business strategy. The decision-making macro phase ends and is followed by the strategy implementation one. Here, the strategy is executed by means of a number of consistent tactical choices that are chained to one another and should lead to achieving the overall strategic objectives. Strategy execution gets strategy down to the basics and encompasses decisions in each given function or unit. In order to support strategy execution, managers may resort to different models. The framework that is widely employed to support strategy implementation is the so-called business model, which considers the implications of a company's business strategy on a unified set of building blocks and parameters. Once a strategy is implemented, it is time to monitor and assess whether such implementation was successful or not, in terms of achieving the overall strategic objectives. This is the monitoring macro phase, where the results obtained are confronted with the goals planned. Usually, the monitoring macro phase is executed through a control step that corresponds to the budgeting variance analysis to quantify any delta between the expected and achieved performance and understand what was the cause of such positive or negative variance. The monitoring macro phase is usually run annually and may lead to confirm the long-term goals set in the orientation phase or trigger our review of such objectives. In the latter case, a strategic replanning starts, involving new objectives, but maybe even requiring a new vision, mission, and a new SWOT. The monitoring macro phase closes the business strategy formulation process. Although we presented strategy formulation at a business level as a linear waterfall process, it is far from being that straightforward. This only happens in ideal conditions, where no feedback or feed-forward is needed. However, in the real cases, we may have to go back to one step to jump another, and so on. The most important thing is that all steps are considered at least once and lead to the formulation and planning of a strategy to achieve competitive advantage within the company's given business.